When you go to buy a brand new $70 AAA experience, you expect it to hold value for a couple of months. You don't think that, oh, several weeks after release, it's going to go on deep discount, but that is exactly what has happened with Borderlands 4, and it has infuriated gamers. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, games will eventually go on sale, but you expect to invest in a game at $70 and for it to hold value for at least a couple of months, but that is not really happening right now with Borderlands 4 because it 30 days after release is already 20% off, which is such a slap in the face to the people who decided to support this studio, to support this series, and to purchase the next iteration in the Borderlands franchise. You shouldn't be putting your game on sale just a couple of weeks after release when the CEO had initially promised that that wasn't going to be the case. So he completely misled people. It says, as of this week, Borderlands 4 is on sale on Steam in many regions, 20% off, down from $70 to $56. I did talk about this in another video. It will be linked down below, but man, are people upset by this, and of course, rightfully so. So it says, players have noted that this is just a month after launch, and it seems to contradict something Gearbox head Randy Pitchford said about Borderlands 4 not going on sale for a long time. This would all seem to reinforce to some degree the idea that Borderlands 4 is underperforming Borderlands 3. We had data before this that said Borderlands 3 sold 5 million copies in 5 days. This was while being an Epic Games Store PC exclusive. Borderlands 4 had 2.5 million players across all platforms, including Steam, in its first week. The budget of Borderlands 4 is more than double that of BL3, according to Pitchford himself. This was back when he was criticized for implying that he might make the game cost $80. It ended up costing $70, and he said Borderlands 4 has more than twice the development budget than Borderlands 3, more than twice, as if that was going to make people want to buy it for the higher price tag, which is crazy. We are talking about a time where a lot of people, first of all, can't even afford to purchase several video games a month or every couple of months, and you really think that your experience is worth more simply because you guys decided to put more money into it. Sometimes that is just the cost of doing business. Development costs go up because you decide to make them high. You can make amazing games like Expedition 33 for $20 to $25 million. You can make games like Silksong on minimal budgets, and yet you have the audacity to sit here and say, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to purchase this at full price. This is why people don't like you, Randy. This is why people do not respect you, Randy. And of course, because the game has already gone on sale 20% off in all countries, this has infuriated gamers because we were promised that it wasn't going to go on deep discount, but I think that this is because of a plethora of issues. First of all, yes, we do know that it is underperforming. It has not done as good as Borderlands 3, which isn't shocking given people were very excited for Borderlands 3 and went into it with very high hopes. But with Borderlands 4, people were upset with the direction they took BL3. And though, of course, the player counts have already tanked, which isn't really shocking. It is a single player game and they expect you to play the main campaign and then probably drop it until they put out a DLC. But in 30 days, and for a game where you're supposed to grind a lot at endgame, it doesn't look good. It had a really great all-time peak at 304,000 players, but if you take a look at the players in-game and the 24-hour peak, it is at an abysmal 32,895, and the score over on Steam is still really bad. It's still not even close to being as successful or as high as they probably would have expected, because if you actually go and you start paying attention and you take a peek, it is sitting at mixed recent and even mixed English. There's a lot of people who are upset about the technical performance problems, the storylines, the lack of content. I feel like this game was a slap in the face to gamers who assumed that a product would be playable when released. This game runs worse after today's update. Don't know how they managed to pull this one off. The game was running fine. Now, constant stuttering. Gearbox's CEO is to blame. And when you are a CEO and you are extremely vocal on social media, you better intend to keep your promises, and that didn't happen here. Borderlands 4 is a buggy mess. The gameplay is fun when you can play, but the bugs, crashing and spotty patches make it where I can't update my game, rendering co-op useless. I would not get BL4 until these issues are either fixed or the game is on some sale, and well, just shortly after release, it's already on sale. Heading over to social media, though, you can clearly see how people feel. Oof, Borderlands 4 is on quite a big sale only 1 month after release. No way! Borderlands 4 is already 20% off. What the hell? Borderlands 4 sucks so bad, it's already on sale. It came out a month ago and is already 20% off. That is horrendous. 1 month in and it's already 20% off. Thanks, Randy Pitchford. I'm glad my day one purchase is already losing value. This franchise has become a cesspool of mediocrity. Let me guess, Randy, people listened to your advice and didn't buy the game since it was too expensive and plagued with performance issues? Laughing my ass off, he said Borderlands 4 wouldn't go on sale for a long time, and it's very sad that we've reached this point where you cannot even buy a video game at release for any reason. First of all, you don't know if the content is going to be controversial, if it's going to have, a Veilguard situation where you might end up with modern day terminology, top surgery, scar toggles, the whole 9 yards. You don't know if it's going to be buggy and broken, and you don't know if it's going to lose value extremely quickly. And again, I completely understand that single player games will tank in player accounts once people have finished them. That's not that shocking, but I do think that the drop off already is pretty brutal. I think that it's obvious games do eventually go on sale, but people don't expect it to be this quick, especially when you've got someone like Randy Pitchford saying, no, it's not going to go on sale very quickly, and we put our trust and our faith into someone like him, and it turns into a massive controversy. So right now, people are very upset over some of the problems they're still having with the game, with technical performance issues. People are upset about the discount. Of course, the news on the street is that it sold very poorly and it is still underperforming Borderlands 3, and you pair that with the drastic player count drop and it looks like Borderlands 4 is in a disastrous state. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.